Welcome to the video lecture of Comparative Design. This video discusses the topic code generation of Module 6. This video also pertains to the third course outcome of this course. That means after the end of the video, the students will be able to translate high-level language into machine code statements. Under the syllabus of code generation, the topics are issues in design of a code generator, the target machine, and a simple code generator. Let us start with an introduction for code generator. The input to the code generator will be optimized intermediate code and the output will be target program. The major task of code generator includes instruction selection, register allocation and assignment, instruction ordering. First topic under code generation is issues in the design of code generator, which deals with the issues that will be facing during the design of code generation. So the 7 issues are input to the code generator, that means the issue regarding to the input taken by the code generator. Second is the issue regarding the target program created by the code generator. Third point is due to the issues in memory management of the names specified in intermediate representation. Then fourth point details with the issues in instruction selection for getting a good code as the target program statements. Then fifth one is the register allocation regarding the instructions. Then choice of evaluation order of the statements are also another issue. Then approaches to code generation is the 7th issue and design of code generator. Coming to the details of each issues, first one is input to the code generator. While we design a code generator, the input should be in such a way that it should be an intermediate representation. Also, it should carry some symbol table information. That is because the information regarding the symbol table can be used to determine the runtime address of the data object. And in the intermediate representation can have several choices. It can be postfix notation, or it can be syntax tree, or it can be 3 address code representation. These all representations are dealt in detail in module 4 and module 5. So we are assuming that if we provide an intermediate representation as input to the code generator, it contains some names that we can help that can help the code generator to produce the machine instruction. Also, it is ensured that all syntactic and semantic errors has been detected. While we design the code generator, the important thing is target program. The output of the code generator is target program. The target program can take different forms. It can be absolute machine code, it can be relocatable machine code, or it can be assembly language. Each of the forms has advantages and disadvantages. When in the case of absolute machine code, there is no relocation is not required. That means the execution can be immediately done. Relocatable machine code means the instructions are to be relocated. It will help us to locate the free space available in the memory, and it will help the subprograms to be compiled separately, but linking and loading is to be performed extra when we use relocatable format. In the case of assembly language, it facilitates debugging. It makes the code generation easier, but if it is an assembly language, then you have to convert using assembler to obtain object code. Another issue is regarding the memory management. The names in the source program will be mapped as data objects during the runtime, and during the runtime where the data objects are stored. So in the source program there will be names, corresponding to the names there will be data objects. So during the runtime where it is stored, that has to be identified by the code generator. It will be easier if it is already specified by the front end too. Then if a machine code is generated, there will be the labels and 3 address statements, which also should be converted to addresses. For this, a backpatching technique can be used. The backpatching technique means if we are translating the flow of control statement containing jump statements, that is go to label like instruction, if that label is coming only as a forward jump, that means the label address is not known at that time. So we can leave that time the address to be blank. So while we move forward, when we come across that label, we can go back and fill the address. So that is called backpatching. Another issue is the instruction selection. The instruction set of the machine is very important. Uniformity and completeness of the instruction set of a machine are important factors in generation of good code. Then, if the efficiency of the target program is not taken care of, the instruction selection will be easier. But we know that always we expect the target program to be efficient. In addition to that, the quality of code is determined by the execution speed as well as the memory it occupies. So we have to choose instruction in such a way that it should execute faster as well as it should consume less memory. Conceptual knowledge is also necessary when machine codes are generated. Consider the example of an intermediate representation x equal to y plus z. In this case, the statement by statement code generation is used, that is move y comma r0. That means y is an operand, it is moved to the register r0, and add is another instruction which will perform the addition of y and z, where the result of operation is stored in r0, z is in memory location of z, or it may be in the register of z. R0 contains the value of y, so both of them will be added together and result will be stored in R0, and this R0 will be moved to x, so that the statement gets fulfilled, x equal to y plus z. But when statement by statement code generation method is adopted, it will generate often poor code. That is clear from the next example. While we consider this example, a equal to b plus c, d equal to a plus e, here while we approach this type of code generation, statement by statement code generation, we will be generating the following intermediate codes, that is move b comma r0 at c comma r0, and we are again moving that a because the second statement contains a, so that is again moved to r0. Initially that b is moved to r0, then we have added that and the result is stored in r0. It is already in r0, then we move that r0 to a. Again we will move the a to r0, but if we look into more detail, we can say that this fourth step is redundant because the final result indicates that r0 is having only the value of a. So that means the step move a comma r0 as the fourth step is not required. So the value of r0 is a and it can be added with e, so that it can proceed with the instruction add e comma r0, and finally it can move r0 to d. Similarly, another example is a for a equal to a plus 1. If the code generator is having an instruction set which is having increment operation, then it is easier than constructing individual statements for adding 1 to a. Another issue is regarding the register allocation. Always opt for registers because they are faster in execution, but there are some problems regarding the register. During the register allocation, what we have to do is that we have to identify which all variables should be kept in registers. During the assignment phase, we have to understand that which register holds which value, which variable. So these are the two problems regarding the register allocation during code generation. Another complications imposed by the hardware architecture will depend upon the certain features. That is, they may use for multiplication and division. For example, they will use the even odd register pairs, and they will use some conditions. Here the multiplication operation, it is mentioned that the multiplicand value is taken from the odd register pair and the product will occupies the entire even odd register pair. In the case of division, it is mentioned as dx comma y. It is a 64-bit dividend and it occupies the even odd register pair, and even register is x, y represents the divisor, and after the division the quotient is stored in the odd register and remainder is stored in the even register. So while we keep track of all these things corresponding to this particular hardware, it is very difficult to generate or allocate registers. So that is clear from the example shown here. T is equal to a plus b, t equal to t star c, t equal to t by d. Here both multiplication division are to be performed based on this particular strategy. So we know that while performing multiplication, the value will be taken from the odd register. So we have to initially make sure that the value is available in the odd register. That is why initially it is loaded into R1. L stands for load operation. L of R1 comma A is loaded into R1 so that it can utilize the multiplication operation, the even odd register pair R0 R1, where R0 holds that T and also the value of T is stored in R1. Then division operation will be following that strategy also. Finally it will be storing the result in R1. R1 is having the quotient because after the division the odd register will be holding the quotient. So here the instruction L corresponds to load, add A, then M for multiplication, T for division, ST for store. If we consider another example, T equal to A plus B, T equal to T plus C, T equal to T by D, here only division operation is performed. So division means even odd register pair it is using. It is a 64-bit even odd register pair. So we know that while we load A, we can choose R0, the odd register, even register. After that, we perform the addition operation, but we have to perform a SRD operation, that is shift right double arithmetic. That means we have to push that content of R0 into R1. So that means we will shift the dividend into R1 so that you can get that dividend from R1. Then perform the division operation. We have to mention that R0 R1 now the R0 is having that has to be pushed on to R1. Both R0 and R1 will be holding the result of SRDA. That is R0, 32 means shift right 32. That means now the 32 bit is in R1. Then, so here in the initial instruction, it is R0 is chosen. In the case of previous example, the initial instruction is having R1. Like that, the register allocation varies depending upon the characteristics of the hardware. Another issue is based on the choice of evaluation order. You consider this example. This is a set of intermediate code representation corresponding to A plus B minus C plus D the whole star E. So these are the set of intermediate representation. This is the set of code. If we reorder this intermediate representation, we will be getting another code with a less number of statement. That is why the order in which computations are performed can affect the efficiency of the target code. The last issue is approaches to the code generator. You know that criterion for the code generator is to produce correct code. So we have to give the premium importance to correctness of the code while we design a code generator. Coming to the next topic, it is target machine. We are assuming that we have got a machine which is having a byte addressable. Here it considers one word as 4 byte and it has got n number of general purpose registers. It has 2 address instructions. The form is of op source comma destination. The op can be any operations. Then source and destination are data fields. The opcodes can be either move, add, sub or anything like that. Another topic coming under the target machine is instruction cost. This is important topic. The instruction cost is majorly it defines as the cost of computing the instruction. That is, here we know that the cost of instruction is to be 1 plus the cost Cost of instruction to be 1 plus the cost associated with the source and destination address mode. That means while we compute the cost of the instruction, there is a basic cost 1. In addition to that, we have to spend some cost over the source and destination address mode. Second point says that if the address mode is register, it is the cost, additional cost is 0. If it is a memory location or literal, additional cost you have to spend is 1. Then the different addressing modes possible. Absolute, register, in-text, indirect in-text, register, indirect in-text, literal. Absolute means cost is 1. Register means cost is 0. In-text means cost is 1. C of R is an example of format of the in-text addressing mode. That means content of the register. First you have to take the content of the register. You have to add that C along with the content of the register. That means C is a constant. So that means added cost is 1. Indirect register means star R, contents of R. Here registers are only considered, so cost is 0. Additional cost is 0. Indirect in-text means star C of R. Means you have to identify the contents of R, that R within the bracket, then you have to add C to that, then you have to identify again the contents of C plus contents of R, that is the cost is 1, that because of that C. Then literal added cost is 1. So based on this addressing mode, we have to compute the cost for the set of instruction. When we consider each instruction, move R0, R1, both of them are registers, so the basic cost will only be there. So basic cost is 1, no additional cost, so the cost will be, total cost is 1. In the case of move R0, M is a memory location, so additional cost will be 1. So the total cost will be basic cost plus additional cost, 1 plus 1, 2. Move M, R0. Here also one operand is memory. So basic cost plus additional cost, that is 2. In the case of move 4 of R0, M, memory location have one cost. In addition to that 4 is there. So 1 plus 1, 2 along with that basic cost. So the total cost is 3. Move star 4 of R0, M. Here also the same thing. Basic cost 1 plus memory location cost is 1. Along with that the cost for that 4, that is 3. Total cost is 3. In this case move hash 1, R0, literal 1, constant. So it also carries a cost. So cost 1 plus basic cost, that is 2. Last one, add 4 of R0, star 12 of R1. That means the basic cost 1 plus the cost for this 4, then cost for this 12, that is 3. Consider the set of instruction for a particular intermediate code statement. A is equal to B plus C. First example. The set of statements or code corresponding to A equal to B plus C are these three codes. While we consider these 3 codes, first one move B, R0. R0 is register, B is memory location. We are assuming that B is a memory location, so the cost will be basic plus 1, that is 2. Similar to that, add C, R0, C is in memory location, so basic plus 1, 2. Move R0, A is in memory location, so basic cost plus 1, 2. So each of these 3 will be having cost of 2. So total cost will be 6. Again we are assuming that A, B and C, they are all stored in registers. That means if we will be ending up with this set of instruction. Move star R1, star R0, add star R2, star R0. That means cost is only 2 because only the basic cost for these 2 instructions is required. If we assume that R1 and R2 contain B and C, that means A is only in memory location. Then the add R2, R1, move R1, A. The code will change. So the cost will be, the first add R2, R1, the basic cost only 1. Move R1, A, basic cost plus 1 for memory location of A. So total cost will be 3. So that is the difference. The final topic or the last topic of code generation is simple code generator. While we design a code generator, we have to keep track of descriptors. There are 2 types of descriptors, register descriptor and address descriptor. Register descriptor will keep track of the registers. So it will be consulted whenever we require a new register. So what is currently in each register, it will keep track of that. Initially, we will be assuming that all registers are empty. After assigning values or after converting the intermediate statements of a basic block into code, the registers descriptor will start filling. Address descriptor means it keeps track of the location where the current value of the name can be found at runtime. And the location can be, so it is the location of the value of that name. So the location can be either memory location, or it can be register or stack address or something else. This information regarding that location of that value can also be stored in symbol table and is used to determine the accessing method for the name. Algorithm for code generation. We are assuming that input is a sequence of 3 address statement. It constitutes a basic block. Suppose x equal to y opposite is the statement in a basic block. What is the step 1? Step 1, we have to find a space L to store the value of x using function getReg. GetReg is a function that will be invoked. It will return the space for storing the result of the operation y opposite. The return value from getReg can be memory or register. It is always preferred a register for storing the values, because if the values are stored in register, the execution will become faster. In the step 2, the y operand, we have to perform the operation next. For that, one of the operand must be in memory location or in register. For that, we have to check that whether what about the condition of y. For y, check whether it is stored in L. That means it is in memory or it is in register, memory location or in register. If it is already in memory or register, we can directly execute the next instruction. Execute the instruction for performing the operation. Otherwise, we have to move that y to a memory location or register. That is why move y comma L. Only after that we can perform the operation. So step 3 says that we can perform the operation of z comma L. So after performing the operation, L will be holding the result of x equal to y opposite. Y opposite result will be stored in L. So we have to update the address descriptor of x. Now the x will be holding the value of y opposite. So if any other register descriptor is having the value of x, we have to remove that register descriptor contents. Finally, we have to think that whether y and z have any next use. If there is no next use, free the registers that are holding y and z also. That is a simple algorithm for generation of a code for a particular basic block. Then detail of the getReg function. When we ask the getReg function to return a register for storing the result, first it will search that if the operand y, we know that after performing the operation, if that variable is not required for further steps, we can use that particular operand's register itself for storing the result. So here y is the operand. So if y is already stored in the register, we can use that register itself for storing the result of the operation. So if y is in register that hold no other value and y is not live and has no next use after x equal to y opposite, then return register of y for L. You can use the register for already allocated for y, because after that operation y is not register for y is not required. So we can store the register, we can store it as a register for x. Failing one, that means if it has got a next use, like that, if any condition is there, then we will not be getting the y register for y for storing the result of operation. So we have to return an empty register. From the empty registers list, we can choose a one empty register and can store the result. If both of these cases fail, the third option is that if x has a next use in the block or op require register, then get a register R. That means if x has a next use and in the next basic block, if it has got a use, then however you get a register, you have to get a register. So we have to store the content into M. Currently, if some variable is already in a register, you have to empty that register or move that particular content into some other memory location and make that register available to store the value of x, because register is that much required. So in execute move r comma m. That means current content of the register will be moved to M, and we will make that R free to hold the value of X. All these three conditions to fail, then what to do is you have to return a memory location for storing the value of X. Here in the example, D is equal to A minus B plus A minus C plus A minus C. The operations correspond to temporary variables. T is equal to A minus B, then after that A minus C, it is stored in U. So here along with the code generated, they also mentions the register descriptor and address descriptor. After that, V is equal to T plus U. That means the result of both of this are again added up. During this transformation, the register descriptor also changes. We have to look into that. While observing this, T equal to A minus B, R0 contains T and T is in R0. So register descriptor keep track of which variable is stored in which register. So R0 contains T. So keep track of the register R0 contain T. Then T is stored where? That is in R0. That is keep tracked by address descriptor. Here in the case we are using another register R1. So that means R0 still contains T, R1 contain U. Then V is equal to T plus U. That means now the T is having R0, U is having R1. Then we can store the result V again into R0. So that means R0 contain V, R1 contain U. After the execution of the instruction, the R0 will be containing V. That means it will replace the content of T, because T is not used in any statements after this particular statement. So we can easily use R0. So R0 contain V, then R1 contain U. Next step, D is equal to V plus U. That means now R0 contain V, R1 contain U. So we can use the existing registers, either R1 or R0. Here it has used this R0. Might be R1 has got a next use. So add R1 comma R0. So R0 contains D. So that is stored. So the initial content of R0 was, or the prior content of R0 was V. It was replaced with a D. And also that content of R0 is kept in memory too. Move R0 comma D. It is moved to D because it is already assigned to D. Well, we compute the cost of this. Cost for generating this much of instruction for this intermediate code statement will be 12. While we thoroughly examine that, we know that by generating move R0 comma R1 immediately after the first instruction and removing move A comma R1, we can reduce the cost to 11. That is, here we know that A is moved to R0. Again A is moved to R1. So both R0 and R1 contains, actually R1 also requires the content of A. So it is better that if we had done that move R0 comma R1 here just after move A comma R0, that means R1 will also have the value of A. That means we can avoid this cost. That is, here the cost will be the cost because it is one memory location and one register. So basic cost plus cost for memory location, 2 cost will come. So if it was not there, instead of that, if move R1 comma R0 is there, move R0 comma R1 is there, that means the registers are only specified in the source and destination. So the total cost will be, the cost for that particular instruction will be only 1. So that means we can reduce the entire cost of this code to 11. Generating code for in-text assignment. The in-text assignment means arrays. So these are the code generated corresponding to A equal to B of I and A of I equal to B. Move of B of Ri comma R, and its cost will be 2. The basic cost plus the cost of the memory location B of I. Similarly, for A of I equal to B, we have to identify the A of Ri. Then it has to be moved to B, memory location B. The cost will be Again, it will be, both of them are memory locations, so along with the basic cost it will come up to 3. Next is the code for pointer assignment. Here, well, we consider a equal to star p and star p equal to a. The code generated will be move star rp comma a, move a comma rp. Here also the code generated contains memory locations, so along with the basic cost, one additional cost will be added up and the cost will be 2 for each instruction. For generating the code for conditional statement, consider if x less than y, go to z. We can generate the code cmp compare x comma y. After that, if we want x less than y, we can generate like this: cj less than z, conditional jump. That means based on the prior condition, if x and y is compared, it is less than 0, it should jump to z. So in the next case, x equal to y plus z, if x less than 0, go to z. That means the code will be generated for x equal to y plus z. After that, without doing a CMP, we can directly generate cj, conditional jump less than z, because it will be looking upon the previous statement. So it is, the previous statement is managing x. So move r0 comma x. That means it is managing x. So the conditional jump will execute based on the value of x. That means it will maintain a condition code descriptor which tells the name that last set the condition code. That means here cj will depend upon the last condition code, that is the x. So we have come to the end of code generation. We have discussed the topics: issues in design of code generator, the target machine, and a simple code generator. Thank you.